So now we are going to revisit our rabbit and to see whether it's ready to sand and refine just yet. So here's one that I did earlier on, and you can see the really big difference in the coloration there. So this one's been drying for 3 days. This one I created yesterday. And so we've got a darker, very clay looking rabbit here. It's nowhere near dry, so I would leave it for another couple of days, I would say. It's heavier and bigger than this one. But this one has a very white appearance all the way around, and it's in really good shape. Now I've already sanded this, and I don't know if you can see, but there are like little tufty bits coming off it, almost like cotton-like. And I think that that is something that is part of the makeup of this clay, and that's what makes it different to ceramic clay and other air drying clays, that it's mixed with some kind of fibres, and that's what gives it some kind of strength, so that it's not going to break. You know, like if you just got a piece of ceramic clay, made an object out of it, and then just waited till it dried and painted it, it would be very fragile. Whereas this has got these fibres that keeps everything stitched and knitted together more strongly. But of course, when you do see those coming up on the surface, we're going to prepare the surface of the clay when we paint it, so you won't see that, and it's going to get smoothed down by our paint. So that's the difference between the air drying clay and ceramic clay. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Now, this rabbit is still not in a state to be able to be painted or to be refined and sanded down. But one of the things I want to tell you about is to get yourself a needle tool or one of these embossing tools with a fine point on the end. You want to make your maker's mark while this is still damp. You want to put that on the bottom, inscribe your name, or do something that just shows the world that this belongs to you, that you made it. It's like your autograph, your signature. Now for me, I always do a little heart shape. That's my little almost calling card, my artist's symbol. And I just use this embossing tool to get into the clay and just create that little heart in there. You can, if you've got your own signature on a rubber stamp or something like that, and put that in at the time when the clay is a bit softer. At this stage, we can carve the clay, so we can put that nice little maker's mark underneath there. Okay, so let's go back to our rabbit here, who is ready to be painted. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we've given him a good going over, and to make sure that he's nice and smooth, and removed any little dents and nicks and that kind of thing. Now you can use fine grade sandpaper, or you can use these sponge sanding pads. Now these I use for silver clay, and they're really good because they've got that flexibility, because they've got the sponge underneath them. And you can get these in automotive stores or hardware stores, DIY places. And you're just going to hold the rabbit gently, keep it very close to the surface that you're working on, and just gently sand. I'm going to bring it up to the camera just so you can see. And when you have this loose dust, you can just brush it away with your finger or with a soft paintbrush. But wear a mask if you can, even just one of those hygiene masks, the COVID masks is fine for this, just so that you're not inhaling those little particles of dust. And you're just going to go all the way around your rabbit, just giving it a gentle sand and smooth, and just making sure that it looks as good as it possibly can, and so that it is then ready to be painted and to look as good as it possibly can, because you want to be really proud of your creation. You want it to be as flawless as possible.